This hooded man is very creepy. As long as he eats something from a dead person's life, he can take on the appearance of the dead person, although it can only exist for 2 minutes, but it can fulfill the wish of the family of the deceased. Many people pay to see their dead relatives. The owner of the bar makes a fortune from this. Unbeknownst to them, a horrible conspiracy was coming. One day a man came to the bar. Seeing the bar owner, he didn't say anything. He just threw out $2,000 and said he wanted to see a dead woman. The owner was also strange this day. Not only did he not take the order, instead, he kicked the man out aggressively. That night, the boss's daughter was about to go to bed. She was suddenly awakened by something, and vaguely heard someone walking downstairs, so she carefully went downstairs to check. No one responded when she called out. She turned on the light leading to the basement, and sure enough the sound came from inside. She tried to open the door but couldn't. Just when she was in a daze, a black shadow suddenly appeared behind her in a flash. This immediately made her feel uneasy. As Annie walked down the hall, suddenly the man came back. This scared the hell out of Annie, grabbed the bottle and told him to leave her alone. The man named Mike was not a bad person. He just wanted to see his dead wife. Annie thought he was out of his mind. What wife are you looking for here? After a brief conversation, Mike learned Annie was the new owner. He took a bunch of bills out of his pocket. Annie asked him where his wife was. Mike said the woman in the basement could see his wife. Annie still didn't believe him. He took $2,000 out of his pocket and said he'd been here before, but his father had turned him down and swore to God that he wasn't a madman. Everything he said was true. Hoping that Annie would help him fulfill this wish, Annie still had to think it was ridiculous. After seeing the dollars, she was moved. She took the money and said she didn't have the key right now. She'd asked Mike to come by tomorrow when she had the key. When Mike left, she told her friend. When her friend found out that Annie was about to get rich, she didn't hesitate to drive over. Annie told her about her deal with the man. Her friend did get a little worried about Annie, but Annie didn't take it personally. She took the money anyway. She also wanted to see what was in the basement. The next day Mike arrived on time. Annie took the key and opened the basement door. Strangely enough, it was empty. There were only 2 chairs in the middle. There was also a black hole in the wall. Mike walked up and called out to the people inside, but there was no response. At that moment Mike seemed to remember something. He told Annie to try calling out. Then Annie said to the black hole, "If there's someone in there, come out." Shortly thereafter, a black hand came out of the hole, and there was a bag on its head. Annie's friend was terrified, and told Annie to get out of there, but Annie stood there in shock. Mike said calmly, "I need your help to summon my dead wife, and say goodbye." But the monster ignored Mike's words. It turns out it only obeyed Annie's orders. Annie ordered the monster to sit down, and uttered a request to the freak. He wanted to see his dead wife. The monster extended its horrible claws. Then Mike pulled out his wife's ring. The freak got the ring and lifted the hood, then opened his mouth wide and swallowed the ring. After a while, the monster let out a horrible roar, and the next second, the black hand turned into a normal hand. Mike knew it was a success. He was happy and went to lift the hood. The result was even more unbelievable. The weirdo didn't turn into his wife. Instead, it turned into someone he didn't want to see. It was his mother.